Hello, I'm Debbie Bell-Hosking for FinextraTV at the inaugural event NextGenAI in London. And I'm joined by Tracy of Smart Data Foundry. We're going to be looking at the human aspect of AI. David, a big welcome to NextGenAI.
Hi, Debbie.
So we're at NextGenAI. So of course, my first question to you has to be, what is your view on the status of AI adoption within the UK?
I think it's very exciting. I think a couple of years ago, ChatGPT kind of came out of nowhere and blew everyone's minds about how advanced it was straight out the box, and it's only gotten better, and then lots and lots of other technologies have emerged as well. But in a lot of sense, I don't think AI is something that's particularly new. We've been using machine learning methods and so on for a couple of decades probably, this is, I think, a next step in the evolution of what we've been doing for a while. I do think sometimes though that AI or GenAI is a solution in search of a problem. I'm not sure that anyone's completely cracked what they're going to use it for. We're still really looking to see that absolutely killer use case that really transforms how people and businesses consume financial services and products. But yeah, it's very exciting, and I can't wait to see what comes next.
And it is exciting. I mean, that's what we're here today to discuss and to be forward-thinking, lessons learned, and forward-thinking as we move forward. And you talk about the use cases, which is so important. If we were to think about the ethics, explainability, and auditability of AI, why is there a need for organisational change to bust some of those myths that are out there?
I think many financial services organisations have been thinking about these issues carefully for quite some time. We know that when we're using machine learning models and so on, they need to be thoroughly thought through. They need to be analysed to make sure that we're not seeing any kind of adverse or unintended consequences of what we're doing. I think that's what the whole ML ops kind of movement is about. And I think that maybe evolves into an AI ops type kind of work stream, where people are leaning into the structures and the processes that they already have, but updating them with the capabilities to reflect the new capabilities that are emerging all the time. And it seems week by week there's always some new model coming out, some brand new kind of leap forward. And I think organisations just need to be that bit more nimble, a bit more agile to keep on top of that.
Talk about being nimble and agile. And earlier when we spoke before recording, you also mentioned that sort of fear around hallucinations. I mean, how would you suggest approaching issues like that?
I think just with a watchful eye on things, the critical thing is always to be monitoring any kind of machine learning models that you have, and in particular AI, where there's just so much more flexibility and range of capabilities that it has, and they could lead to real unintended and problematic consequences if not kept in control. So organisations need to think through carefully how they are going to keep an eye on the quality of the outputs, the relevance of the outputs, and make sure that it doesn't get too off-piste.
And we're going to come now to the human in the loop, and I imagine that actually follows on quite nicely into the human in the loop. Can you elaborate on that, and also how you see the human in the loop in 2025?
I think there'll always be a place for a human in the loop. Where I think that it will evolve is, where do you prioritise the human in the loop being? There's lots and lots of processes I think that AI will be very well set up to automate, things that require little or no human oversight or intervention, leaving people able to pick up the more complicated cases. And AI can certainly help in particularly complex, sophisticated use case. I think things like insurance fraud, insurance claims and so on, complex underwriting cases where there's lots and lots of information that needs to be taken into account. And AI could, I think, very elegantly serve as a helper in those situations to then allow people to focus their expertise, their experience, their empathy with other people as well to really come to the best decision for their businesses and for their customers.
And another key word that often comes out of a conversation like this is bias. How can we address bias going forward?
I think bias is always going to be there. Bias is in all of us from our own personal experiences. The lives that we lead to our kind of skewed perspective on things, and that's never going to go away. I think we need to be extra vigilant though when it comes to AI, because we run the risk of imprinting our our biases into the data, into the decisions that the AI makes. And I think that by being very reflective about the outputs that are coming out of AI, the decisions that are maybe being made on our behalf, and really reviewing those and really critically evaluating that, I think that will serve to mitigate many of the dangers, but also recognising that we probably won't ever get rid of it all, but all we can do is our best to keep getting better at tackling that problem.
And from what you're saying, it's a skill, a human skill, at taking what AI gives you, looking at it, assessing it, and seeing if it needs tweaked or whatever for purpose?
Yeah, I think that's the myth that really needs busted, I think, is that we can just switch our brains off and let AI go and run things for us. That just won't happen. I think that we really need to value the perspectives and the histories that we all have, our opinions, our views on the world, and critically view the outputs of AI through that lens, so we make sure that we don't lead ourselves into undesirable outcomes when it comes to bias or discrimination or other kind of ethical issues that might arise.
David, thank you so much. And it's so interesting, particularly today at NextGenAI, because these conversations are definitely coming to the surface, and as well with these sort of question marks and direction as to where it's heading. So thank you so much.
Thank you.